looking forward to sharing a story or two with you as we travel around Whitby. Just ahead, to the right of Station Inn, is Loggerhead's Yard. Loggerhead is another word for the figurehead of a ship. Some vessels found to be involved in smuggling would be broken up and their figureheads or loggerheads put on display. As we turn right at the roundabout, you'll see to the left the award-winning Trencher's Seafood Restaurant, one of many establishments in the town where you can enjoy the taste of fresh fish. New Quay Road, which we're turning into, dates from the 1920s, when the old timber riverside quays were demolished. Ahead on your left, the Angel Hotel, now owned by Wetherspoons, was once a coaching inn on the long journey to London. The Royal Mail coach to York operated from the Angel since its inception in 1795. It was also where entrepreneur George Hudson and the inventor George Stephenson met to discuss bringing the railways to Whitby. On the right is Whitby's Swing Bridge, which was opened in July 1909. Although a bridge has linked both sides of the town at this site for centuries, there wasn't a swing bridge here until 1835. The 1835 bridge finally had to be replaced by the present one because it didn't give enough clearance for many of the larger steel ships being built upriver in the late 19th century. The bridge is electrically operated and opens for shipping on the hour and half hour on request, from about 2 hours before high water to about 2 hours after high water. The imminent closing of the bridge is signalled to pedestrians by the ringing of a handbell. We are now on St Anne's Staith. Staith is the Norse word for harbour. St Anne's Lane, which runs between St Anne's Staith and the end of Flowergate, was formerly called Hell's Lane, probably because of its steepness. On the other side of the river, over to the right, is Whitby's lifeboat station. And if nobody is in trouble out at sea, you'll be able to see the orange lifeboat moored just beneath it. Just ahead of us lies Marine Parade, which was built by the Victorians so that they could promenade along the water's edge. In earlier times, they would have had to walk up Hagger's Gate, which is Norse for Twisted Road. On the left, as we turn into the narrow Hagger's Gate, look out for the large Georgian mansion built in 1817 for the Reynolds family. Like many of the houses around here, it was built on a sandbank supported by piles. It became the Mission to Seamen in 1877. Coming up on the left, behind the cafe, is Bakehouse Yard. This was home to Henry Freeman, only survivor of the lifeboat disaster of February 1861. He survived because he was the only crew member wearing a cork life jacket. Pier Road was originally built about 1875 over the sandy banks of the river. Prior to this time, the crag was the only way from the town to the shore. The new buildings to your left are in fact new frontages, built after that time onto the backs of the riverside buildings which originally faced onto the Crown. Coming up on the left, the award-winning Quayside Restaurant was once a public bathhouse, museum and a library. In the late 1890s, it's said Bram Stoker carried out research for his Gothic novel Dracula in the first floor library. Ahead on the left, the building with the large bay windows is the popular Magpie Cafe. Built in 1750 as a merchant's house, it was later used as a pilot's office. The pilot would have had an excellent view of any activity in the harbour and on the River Esk. Ahead on the left is the Lifeboat Museum, in a building which served as a double boathouse for the RMLI between 1895 and 1957. The museum now houses the last rowing lifeboat used in the British Isles, the Robert and Ellen Robson. This was used in many rescues. We will soon be reaching our next stop, where we take a short break. You can alight for the beach, the pier and the lighthouse. Or alternatively, you can stay on the bus and enjoy the rest of the tour. If you're leaving us at this stop, please remember to take all your belongings with you, including any children. Whitby has the only natural harbour along the 100 miles of coastline between the Tees and the Humber, and has for centuries been known as a place for refuge for mariners. The beach between Tate Hill Pier and East Pier is also known as Collier's Hope, as it was thought that if any storm-tossed ship could reach that, she'd be safe. The scene in Dracula, in which the Russian vessel Demeter runs aground on Collier's Hope with its captain dead and tied to the wheel, is based on a real-life incident. A Russian vessel, the Dmitri, did run aground on Collier's Hope. However, its captain was not dead. He was drunk. Just across the river, you can see the 199 steps leading up to St Mary's Church. The street running along the cliffs towards the sea is Henrietta Street, which used to stretch much further around the cliff until it suffered from a huge landslip one night in 1787. Many houses ended up on the beach below, and over 1,000 residents lost their homes. It is remarkable that no lives were lost that night. Fortunately, the land was seen to be breaking up, and everyone was evacuated a few days before. Since then, there have been 3 notable landslips, in 1870, 1923, and most recently in 2012. If you follow the road past the Quarterdeck Cafe, you'll find yourself on Battery Parade. As the name suggests, it was where several defence cannons